I am here for a second cup of coffee today. This new little side project that we just sort of last second strung together. We have a very important guest on with us, someone that has been scheduled a couple times to get on the mic during our show broadcasts, and we're going to find out exactly why he couldn't do that today. So, welcome to the show, King James. James Black, everyone.
Thank you, sir. I do appreciate you having me on your broadcast here, and I would like to apologize, first of all, to yourself, and as well as the rest of the HWA universe for not being available. You have to forgive me. I have to get another assistant to help me book these events, because the one that I currently have can't quite seem to get the job done correctly.
The life of a king, right?
Exactly. I've had autographs run late, and all these autograph sessions and photo shoots and type things like that. We have them set for a scheduled time, but me being who I am and demanding and commanding the type of attention that I do, of course, these things seem to run over sometimes. So again, I do apologize there.
That's very understandable. I've been in the industry for 30 plus years now, so I've seen how it gets when superstars that are as successful as you've been in your career basically since day one. So I understand, and the spot's always open for King James. It's nice to be able to finally get you mic'd up though and hear what you had to say. This is kind of an open forum thing, James, so whatever you want to talk about, if you want to do a State of the Union in E-Dub in general, if you want to talk 3-Dub, if you want to talk HWA, basically whatever's on your mind, we can go there. So,
well, for the time being, let's talk HWA. If I wanted to talk 3-Dub, I'd go to 3-Dub. Let's handle some HWA business today.
All right, fair enough.
First and foremost, I want to say this. The thing that brought me back to HWA again is I began to see a lot of the top talent in the E-Fed world returning or somewhat centered around HWA. The thing that I like about HWA, it brings in a lot of talent, not just from HWA, but it brings in a lot of talent from a lot of the other E-Feds across the world. There are some guys here that I've never had the opportunity to work with, and me reaching, I'm not going to say the end of my E-Fed career, but I'm not a rookie to this anymore, so I'm looking to get in there and mix it up with some of the newer guys, and pass on some of the things that I know as well, before I actually do hang it up.
You had me going there for a second. The way you were talking, it sounded like you were leading into the end of James Black's in-ring career there. You sort of had me going for a second.
No, absolutely not. I have a lot left in the tank, as Mark Henry once said. I got a lot left. But one thing that I realized over the course of doing this whole E-Fed thing, and you may hear me go in and out of character here from there, just so you know.
Sure.
But one thing that I've noticed, once you reach a certain level of notoriety in the E-Fed world, you almost become an attraction more so than a premier superstar, and that's the thing that I don't want. The thing that brought me to HWA, not only the talent, but I am in a pursuit for nothing more than accolades. I'm in a pursuit for nothing more than gold, because I believe that at the end of your E-Fed career, these are the things that are going to speak for you. People may remember your promos, they remember some of your matches, but for example, when people speak about Ric Flair, the thing that you always hear is 16-time World Heavyweight Champion.
I think people that don't even watch wrestling know who Ric Flair is and know he was a 16-time champion.
Exactly.
Yep.
So at this point in my career, it's proven that I can drop one of the some of the best promos in EFED. It's proven already. I believe there are EFEDs that I don't even know about, never been a part of, but you have people there that know me, they know my work. At this
That's
point,
what hybrid's all about too. So I'm glad you came and joined us last season.
exactly. At this point, for me, it's all about the accolades. I won't even sugarcoat it. Yeah, I got to pad my resume. I began to look and think about this some months back, and with the amount of work that I've done, primarily with 3Dub, it's where I got my start. Um, and I'll always appreciate Drew, Matt, and the guys over there for giving me that start. Um, but at the end of the day, again, accolades is what I'm in pursuit of right now. And
So you've basically won every title, held every title, won just about every award. I remember you kind of listing some of them off when I was watching the Turnbuckle Awards for 3Dub. So there doesn't seem to be a whole lot left there that you can really do now. That's why you sort of have been looking towards HWA and didn't you sign to what the UCW for a short time too?
well, as far as UCW goes, I did that primarily as a favor for Dylan Mason. Dylan Mason. I want to say this as well. In the EFED world, it's very few far and in between.
What you got going on? I don't mean to interrupt you there. You got some kind of interference going on with your mic, just moving around or something there.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was
I just
still doing photo shoots here. I apologize.
yeah
Is that
okay.
a little bit better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, someone probably standing there trying to put makeup on James Black, right?
Well,
Powder
not
and
makeup.
James Black.
But yeah, as far as UCW goes, a bunch of great guys there. Victor ran the place, and some of the other guys. Um, but I primarily joined UCW. Um, it, it 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 never really did interest me. I did it primarily for Dylan Mason. He asked me to come over and be a part of a feud or an angle or something like that, and I just stuck around. Um, but I said that to say this: friends, real friends, I feel that they're very few, far and in between in the EFED world. And I've been lucky enough to make a really good friend out of Dylan Mason, who is one hell of a EFED character, man. This guy, he's on my Mount Rushmore. I'll just say that. He's a great
Definitely
guy.
anyone that follows our rather small community um, probably knows Dylan Mason from every different type of show that he's done. So I agree. One of the greats out there. Um, a lot of people would put you right up there with him. Um, How do you feel about that statement?
Um, I I won't. I personally won't put myself in that category. Contrary to a lot of popular belief, I'm actually a very humble guy. Um, I
Hmm.
love to put a ton of energy into the James Black character, whether I'm face or heel or whatever the case may be. But you won't ever catch me coming out saying, "Well, I'm just as good as Dylan Mason." No, but if the fans, the people watching, if they feel that way, I appreciate that. It just lets me know that people enjoy the work that we do. Now, if you'll allow me to go back to one of your previous questions,
Of course.
I don't feel that I've done everything that there is to do in 3Dub. I've won just about every award from the award show that you can possibly win, but as far as championships, I've only held two titles. Um,
Really?
yes, and that's the world. Actually, one title, but two times, and that's just world heavyweight champion. That's it. Um, what I would love to do more. I don't know if the opportunities are there or if the opportunities would ever present themselves. But again, as I said, at this point in my career, uh, it's all about the accolades to me. I don't want to be, when I do decide to hang it up, I don't want it to be just a two-time world heavyweight champion. I want to be able to go down the list and, you know, count these titles out. It's not about title reigns to me. I know some guys they boast and how long that they've been champions. It's not about how long you're champions. To me, it's about making the product better, and that's what I aim to do wherever I go, whoever I interact with, whoever we feud with. If we can't leave out of this thing better than we came in, then it's what are you doing?
So this morning in our the first impromptu sort of, um, I guess you could consider this a podcast, right?
Yes,
I
yes.
guess if we, if it becomes a regular thing, it'll be kind of randomly regular, I guess, the new term. But I had a gentleman that you've become pretty accustomed to, at least recently, Sander Cool, on this
Those
morning, and we chatted a little bit about this next topic. So I'm curious, without you having heard him talk this morning, bring up the same question to you. It's sort of the chicken or the egg, which goes first. So, does the title make the champion, or to you, does a champion make the title?
the
Is that
champion makes
question
the
clear
title.
enough? Yeah.
It's easy. It's easy. It's easy. It's easy. The champion makes the title. Um,
Okay.
I believe that not just the title, but I believe your champion is a forerunner for your company as well. I believe the head. This is just my personal opinion, and I could be completely wrong, but I believe, in my mind, in my world, the heads of e-feds, the owners, they look at other e-feds and they judge the e-fed depending on who the world champion is. Because in my opinion, again, I could be completely wrong. You have your hand in running a great e-fed, so you could disagree with me, and I would accept that. But in my mind, I feel like the heads of other e-feds, they sit down, the owners of other e-feds, they sit down and they judge other feds depending on who the world champion is.
That's
I
definitely
believe some
safe
of
to say. Yep.
yeah, I believe some of the other talent as well. Um, they look at other e-feds and they judge them based on who their world heavyweight champion is. I believe their world heavyweight champion should be a guy um, who you have confidence in that can go out and get the job done. Period. You
Definitely. So
can't
you
put
look
the world
around and
heavyweight.
you see guys like. So we're on. We'll stay with HWA. Um, our current champion, Gorilla Cruz. Now you haven't had, from what I've seen, even in 3 you hadn't seen very much interaction with Gorilla. How do you see Mr. Cruz as a champion? If you're an outsider, hadn't worked with HWA before, and you look at HWA from the outside, and you see Gorilla Cruz as the champion, is that a place that you want to go based off what you had just said?
Well, first of all, let me say this. I have had a couple of matches with Gorilla Cruz over in 3 but one thing that I've learned with
Okay,
UCW,
goofball, stop. I'm not talking to
uh,
you. Sorry, James. My
no worries.
granddaughter is here. I'm doing this from my home, so my grandkids are over. So my granddaughter is kind of climbing up behind me in the chair.
I understand, no worries. Um, I feel that
Stop.
no matter who um, these competitors are, for example, like I said, I did face Gorilla Cruz a couple of times over in 3 but one thing that I've learned is Gorilla Cruz is a different person in HWA than he was in 3 you look at Dusty Rhodes, he was a completely different person than he was in NWA and WCW and WWE is a completely different person. And it's the same thing with 3 It's the same thing with UCW. It's the same thing with HWA. Uh, for example, over in 3 I'm a good guy. In HWA, I am coming to wreak havoc. And that's just what it is. That being said, um, I believe that Gorilla Cruz is a formidable champion. One of the most dominating presences that I've ever seen. Um, there's a couple of guys that when you see them, you just automatically know that they're all about business. And to me, Gorilla Cruz is one of those guys.
Definitely a rough street guy. He seems to his moral compass seems to be pretty straightforward. Despite his rough around the edges, he he seems to stand up for the little guy, the people that are in the same shoes as he was while he was growing up. That's a pretty safe observation, I believe. Based off having some conversations with him, whether he's heel or face, I don't know if there's an exact line for him, but yeah, I kind of see now.
Well,
Yeah,
let me say this to that statement, whether he's heel or face. If he doesn't know, then I think it's my duty to help him find out if he's heel or face.
now I've watching you throughout your career, and this isn't to polish the James Black ego at all or anything, but one of the reasons why I actually came over to 3Dub was that I would potentially get a chance to do this, sit down and interview James Black, one on one, SBJ and James Black, that or possibly call some of your matches. I never got in the booth. Dewey took that role over, which, fine, he does a great job. So it's nice when you decided last season to come on over. Your season didn't go very long with us last year, and I didn't get a really much of a look. So hopefully we get to change that, and I get to call some more James Black matches over here. But yeah, you were one of the reasons why I even went into 3Dub. So
Well, I'll tell you this, Stephen. You're going to get your wish because I plan on being very active here in HWA. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I want to address, being king of HWA and one of the newer superstars here for my second go round, one of the things that I want to address is some of the talent, some of the reason that I came over here. Guys like Rashid Dickens, guys that have all the potential in the world. I'm not sure if Will King is here, but I will say this also. I noticed that Will King, he ran out of HWA faster than Forrest Gump trying to find Jenny as soon as I signed. And there was a lot of hype around Will King, but it turns out that he was nothing more than a Walmart brand of James Black. So you have those guys like Will King. I see Ian just pop his head up over here. I see you got Gorilla Cruz. Now, speaking of Gorilla Cruz, I want to say this. You have a guy like James Black, just won King of the Ring, basically give me a shot at the championship whenever I have an opportunity. But you have a guy so confident, so calm, so cool, so collect like Gorilla Cruz, who has yet to even mention James Black, who has yet to even acknowledge me, and that doesn't sit right with me.
he's a little bit tied up with basically Gorilla Cruz versus the world with the whole O'Connor clan over there. I don't know, maybe the heat with them all up in his face. I don't know if he's purposely ignoring you, but I doubt that he doesn't feel your presence, some sort at least.
It's a very interesting choice of words, him feeling my presence.
I'm not
I believe
okay.
we're going to do some great things here in HWA, Stephen. I really do.
That's what we're hoping for. It's just enough different than the bigger guys. A little better product, I feel, than some of the bigger shows, and me not as good as some of them. I wouldn't say that HWA is on the same or even close to the same scale as like Worldwide Wrestling or Lit Wrestling with Mr. Prada over there. But we've got a lot of good things going on here, and a definitely a bright future. Um, Speaking of bright futures, someone that I know that you are very familiar with has taken really a very similar path to you, and someone that I believe you actually mentored has just basically come out of being 3Dub exclusive, and I have here in front of me an actual signed contract. So this female superstar, let's see if you can tell the world who I am gesturing at before I even say the name.
Well, I'll tell you this. First and foremost, I've mentored a lot of young men and women in this industry, but I believe the woman that you're talking about at this current moment is Athena.
That's
And
exactly, yep.
I want to tell these women and some of the guys on the roster as well, you better keep your head on the swivel with this one because, man, she is a firecracker. And I'm talking about a major firecracker.
And it's funny that you mentioned some of the guys in here because in HWA, they may find themselves crossing paths with Athena in some of these
Oh, wow.
matches. Or sorry, mixed gender matches. They hasn't happened yet so far, but
Hmm.
there we did sign and had a petition passed around and waivers signed by both sexes. Yours should have been in your your email here, maybe today.
No, no,
Um,
no, 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 no. If you haven't looked at my contract, it states that I am only to wrestle men. I don't want to go to jail, man. I don't want to go to prison.
does
Okay,
that
let
in
me
there? I
take you
haven't
back.
I haven't dug into it, but
Please do. Because
okay.
if you have not, Stephen, let me take you back to TB5, what I did to HWA's golden boy, Bret Hartford. I'm sorry, you guys like to refer to him as Devil Dog, but if I can take you back and show you what happened in this match, you would understand what my contract states that I am not to wrestle with anyone of the opposite sex.
No, I have tried to be as non-biased as I can, especially after a certain incident last time you were anywhere near me while I was um, in this booth. Um, we don't have to really revisit that incident, but I've it's professional as I can. Try to wipe the slate clean here. Fresh contract and all that. So, um, but yeah, you definitely were in a bad spot there. And coming from an outsider as strictly a fan and not because of my personal bond with Devil Dog, that was a hell of an exciting and what was it, a year long feud that the two of you had going on.
It was definitely just about a year long feud. Now, the thing I don't think people quite understand about that, my last match in 3 Dub before I was forced out was with Brett. We main evented in Liverpool. We main evented Takedown in Liverpool, and it was one of the best matches that 3 Dub has ever had. Sold out the arena, 5-star matches rated all over the world. And then it comes out, I go backstage and basically can't get along with management for some unforeseen reason. And Brett comes out months down the road after I finally do return to 3 Dub and tells me that he was the reason that I basically got booted from 3 Dub. And if you don't know this, I broke so many records in 3 Dub. I shattered so many glass ceilings. I was the first ever African American World Heavyweight Champion. I was the first. I was the first guy to ever win that championship with his first title opportunity, and there's so many different things that I had done there, and I had to give all those things up because of Brett. And I tell you now, we've thrown dirt on top of it. I don't know if everything is actually dead, but we've thrown dirt on top of it, and we've moved on. But when I tell you there haven't been many things in this industry, there haven't been many things in this business that have actually hurt me. But that hurt because I considered Brett one of my closest friends at the time.
And I believe he considered you a very close friend too. And I guess I've had several conversations with him about this, and I know he said it time and time again, um, but he really felt like he was doing the right thing by coming out with that. He knew that there would be some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Some sort of fallout with it, but he felt like probably out of respect for you, he had to clear the air, basically. But I don't believe he really understood quite in your mind, your psyche, how deep 3-Dub was embedded into your DNA.
Yeah, I realized that after a certain amount of time, but I think he would have been much better off just not telling me at this point. But
I'm sure his
it's in the
medical
past.
bill agrees with you.
Yeah, it's in the past.
Which
We're
Three
over.
Dub did take care of a lot of it. There was it 3-4 months in a hospital bed or longer. So I just wanted to, again, those of you watching, give a thumbs up, like the video here, just to as a thank you to 3-Dub for taking care of him the way that they did, because they didn't have to, because that match TB5 was an unsanctioned match, was it not?
No, TB5 was sanctioned.
TB5 was sanctioned.
Hardcore Halloween was not sanctioned. Which I was actually surprised that they actually granted this match, considering how the previous match went. But stranger things have happened.
Yeah, indeed, and sort of a weird finish to that match when you and he finally got back in the ring together after he had what come in. You had a shot at the title. Um, he came in as a little retaliation and actually cost you the belt. Then the two of you had a match, 1-on-1 again, and this time he won that, but in sort of a kind of a strange way that no one really expected. And by your reaction, it didn't seem like you expected it either.
I really didn't. And when I go back and watch this match, uh, and by the way, we were voted match of the year, which is an award that I've won every year that I've been an active member of the 3-Dub roster, which I believe speaks volumes in itself.
It definitely does. I agree.
Um, but once you go back and watch that match, Dewey Danielson, I believe he described it perfectly. He said James Black is here to fight, well, Devil Dog is here to wrestle, and I believe that's exactly what it was. In that particular match, I won't even stand here and fake it with you and say the better man won, because I don't believe the better man won. But Brett had a better plan than I did, because my plan was simply to beat the living hell out of Brett.
And I
Brett
think
was
he
smart
knew
enough.
that, correct? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And the thing is, we know each other. We go when I tell you that I didn't. It's not that I just consider this guy a friend, but we go back. We train together, traveled all around the world together. He helped me build. Once I stepped away from 3-Dub, I started my own minor company, Big Box Wrestling. Brett helped me over there. We trained together. We sparred together, and he's one of those guys that just knows my in-ring ability inside and out. That's just what it is.
And I believe from watching some of what was going on in 3-Dub, Um, after he got back into 3 Dub after he was out for medical leave, um, there were a lot of back and forth words being said, and some interesting things were pointed out. Um, it seems like he was you guys were a big part of each other's lives, in including family.
Absolutely.
Um, and touching on some of the incidences where I don't I don't know if I can talk about this, but there were some pretty dark things involving children and um, pets, things like that, and um, the passing of your father. I'm sorry for mentioning that here, but that was a huge part of it, and he was there for your family and Logan. So this was a very deep, deep storyline and relationship that you guys had. Hopefully, I don't
Yeah,
know. Hopefully, I get that across to the people watching. Exactly what that feud means and what could still be, under the surface there. So
I believe, and I believe anyone that has followed my career, they will also tell you that this has by far, and I mean by far, by a long shot, has been the most personal rivalry that I've ever been in. Um, it's also been one of the greatest. I've had, I mean, I've been at an all time high with this rivalry. Um, I didn't always come out on top. I didn't always come out on the bottom. But we always went balls to the walls, and that's the one thing that I know Brett knew was going to happen. He knew I was going to give it everything I had. I knew he was going to give it everything he had. Um, and again, we know each other just that well, which is what I expected from Sander on last night. Um, More than just the running of the mouth and that type thing, you know. But I
it
want
didn't
to
really work out
extend,
so well for Sander.
but you know what? I'm going to issue another opportunity for Sander here. I don't know if SBJ will allow this, but I'm going to ask him to consider it. I want to,
Another one-on-one, Sander Cool and
yeah.
James. At this point, don't you think? Isn't it just sort of maybe making a mockery of Sander Cool? Like, I don't know. Sander Sander definitely works hard, but
He works hard. I give him that, and he's becoming better. He's learning to perfect this craft. But here's the thing: if I'm the king of HWA,
you are.
I just cannot allow anybody to speak to me recklessly and do nothing about it. I just cannot allow that. So now Santa doesn't have to accept the challenge, but I want to issue this challenge anyhow. Hell, even with me issuing the challenge, it doesn't. I mean, ownership, management, they might not approve it, but I'm going to throw the challenge out there anyway.
I'm sure
I'm
their
going to give Sander.
management is watching, and Sander Cool. Um, you always watch these shows. I don't know if you're watching right now, but there's the challenge. One more time, James
But
Black actually extending the challenge
I,
out to you.
I want to put something on the line here this time now.
Okay,
If he's not able to get the job done, I want to take Nora as my manager.
that's let me get something to write on. I guess I don't need it because this is getting videoed, but
Now it's
that
up to Sander if he
that's a
wants to
huge
accept this challenge or not.
stipulation there, James Black. Because I was talking to Sander earlier, and it's finally come out over in NGW that Sander and Nora aren't just manager and client; they actually have a relationship now.
Of
So
course they do.
that would
That's right.
be that would be if you beat Sander, he accepts those stipulations. You beat him, she becomes your manager and his love interest. That's yeah, that's some Maury Povich type of scenario there, James.
Well, the thing is, Stephen, I don't tolerate disrespect well. So if a guy, for whatever reason, wants to disrespect me, and Sander doesn't have a legitimate reason to dislike me. He doesn't have a legitimate reason to disrespect me. Why? Because I replaced an injured superstar in this King of the Ring tournament. I still beat everyone fairly. And not only did I beat everyone fairly, the issue that Sander has is that he lost to a better man. So that being said, if you're going to lose to a better man, why not lose to a better man all the way around?
That's right. You did eliminate him, didn't you, out of the
I
tournament?
did. And that is the issue that he has. Lost to a better man.
He should have been fighting Trey Jeter, which another great superstar. So the outcome may not have really been that different for Sander. And here, if you want to look at it, I don't like. Um, Sander is a legit superstar, and he's got his place, but he's definitely not on that level yet. Sorry, Sander. So I don't know if it would have turned out too much different for him. But
Well,
again, those of you that are just tuning on, I've seen people jump on and off, no one commenting, but those of you that are just tuning on, I'm here with James Black, King James, the star maker, king of HWA right now. So make sure you throw a like up there on this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and go back and watch or listen at least from the beginning of this. James has a lot of very interesting tidbits from his past. So where do we want to go from here? Some interesting facts about James Black. What is something that, if you don't mind sharing, that the wrestling world may not know about James Black? At least one thing.
well, okay. I have something that I've actually been wanting to announce to the EFED world. Something that I'm very happy about. Something that I'm very proud about. That at this point, only a few people actually know. So I'll be glad to share that with you here, Stephen.
Okay.
And that fact is that my son, Logan Black, has just signed a contract with 3Dub, and he will be the first legitimate second generation superstar in any EFED in the world.
There's a lot of father-son combos out there. So what?
What makes it different?
Yeah.
This is the first legitimate.
So we're going for those listening, OOC. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. A lot of people carry the names of former superstars. There was a guy named Jamar Johnson who was in a whole ripoff of Ahmed Johnson, basically. He just carried the name and said it was his father, but actually, this guy was just a piece of trash, just really good shaped piece of trash.
There's been a lot of those out there that never really go very far. Now, so champions, James, where you're going, that there are people that come in and they are in great shape, but they are just trash. Maybe they've got a great physique, they've got the look, something that causes them to be looked at as a superstar. But what is it really to you? What makes that next level? What is it that James Black has and Dylan Mason has that makes them the guy?
I believe in this
Because Dylan Mason doesn't have James Black's physique. James Black looks like a champion. Dylan Mason looks like a punk that grew up, playing in a heavy metal band on the streets of like the Netherlands somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you this. I believe the thing that sets guys like Dylan Mason apart, I believe the thing that sets guys like James Black, Iron Bison, Crimson Wolf, I believe the things that set guys like that apart in the EFED world, it's believability. I watch a lot of guys, they have a lot of potential, but there's no conviction when they speak. I can come out here and tell you that I'm going to wrestle circles around you. I can come out here and tell you that I'm going to break your arms or whatever the case may be. But there has to be, in my opinion, there should be a certain amount of believability to whatever it is that you're saying. And a lot of these guys don't have believability. A lot of these guys don't have conviction. A lot of these guys, when they speak, there's no weight behind their words. And not only that, but I don't believe that you can be as successful. You may disagree with me now, being in ownership level of eFeds, you may disagree with me, but I don't believe you can be as successful with written promos in today's eFed world. You have to be able to get in front of that camera and capture the audience. They have to know who they have to know who they're watching. They have to be able to believe in what the person is saying. And I can read words all day long, but just because I'm reading words, there's no believability to that. You have to be able to stand in front of the camera and look these people in their eye and capture them and have them eating out of the palm of your hand. And the guys that I mentioned, they're able to do that. Dylan Mason, he can make you eat out of his hand. Crimson Wolf, he can make you eat out of his hand. Iron Bison, he can make you eat out of his hand. And
Now, you've mentioned Bison a few times. Bison, he hasn't been very active here, but he is in the heavyweight roster, where you've mentioned him a couple times. Is that sort of, are you friends with Iron Bison? Is there, do you potentially look forward to possibly standing toe-to-toe with Bison, or have you already? I don't even know if you've ever confronted Iron Bison.
I've never actually had the opportunity to work with him, but again, he's one of those guys from across the eFed world that I've been able to witness his work. He's also one of those guys that have drawn me back to HWA to have an opportunity to work with him.
So you are aware that he is here?
Absolutely. That being said, I'm not particularly calling out anyone, but I want it to be known that I am here and I am looking for competition, not just any competition, but the best competition in the world. Again, which is why I'm in hybrid wrestling universe. I believe that some of the best competition in the world is here. You know, without the exception, or with the exception of guys like Ian, who doesn't deserve a contract, in my opinion.
You're referring to the Scottish Warrior,
Scottish
Ian
Bulldog,
Cullen. Scottish,
or whatever he is. I don't
now,
know. Scottish Bulldozer. That's what it is.
what is it? Why don't you like Ian? Why don't you? Why don't you like Ian? Let me just come right out and okay. Ask it. I see you jab at him everywhere. Why don't you like the Scottish Warrior?
I'll tell you exactly why I don't like the Scottish Bulldog. Every promo that I've ever seen from this guy is exactly the same. Go back and watch, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it is that he does. There might be a little bit of music playing in the beginning. He'll wave off the music and immediately start yelling. I hate one-dimensional eFed stars. I hate them. Tony Mercer. Trash.
Does he say anything other than "All Rise"?
No, he does not.
I don't think I've ever seen him say anything else.
That's what categorizes him as grade A garbage.
Okay. Wasn't he... You mentored him for
no.
a decent time, did you not?
Let me stop you right there. I did not mentor him. I tried to mentor him.
All right.
You see, the thing is, I'm not a teacher, Steven. I'm not a teacher. I'm an awakener. And I was unable to awaken this guy because there's nothing there to wake up. He's a total loser.
So where did the Star Maker sort of mantra come from? Is that where did that come from? Because you apparently couldn't make Tony Mercer a star. So how did you end up with the nickname of the Star Maker?
Well, Well, let me address this Tony Mercer thing first. Um,
And we
quite
didn't finish
honestly,
with Ian King either. Sorry, my mind's
no,
going
no.
all over the place.
The objective, in all honesty, was never to make Tony Mercer a star. The objective was for me to get back in the ring, and I used Tony Mercer to do that. I've known Tony Mercer from the time he was about 5 or 6 years old. So
Really?
me also knowing that he never had the ability to be a major star, that's nothing new to me. Um,
Didn't you beat
I,
him up in a church somewhere? Was
no,
he
that wasn't him.
involved in that incident? No.
No, 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 that wasn't
I thought I read
him.
somewhere that you beat him up in a church.
And I beat him up several places, but church just was not one of them.
Okay.
uh, but yeah, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
It was kind of a mixed thing. We were talking about why you don't like Ian, the Scottish bulldog, as you refer to, and you started sort of um, critiquing. We'll use that word, critiquing his on screen
Approach.
performances.
Yeah,
Correct.
he's just very one dimensional. Is a thing that I just cannot gravitate. I'm not going to even say I don't like the guy. I don't like his style. He's very one dimensional. And I also give me a moment to say this. I do appreciate the shipment of Black Rifle coffee that I received. I'm actually taking a sip here now while I'm in Las Vegas uh, at my residence here, and it's spectacular, man. I currently have um, the cinnamon churro flavor, and it's amazing.
Nice. I haven't tried that yet. So far, my favorite has been Beyond Black, and then AK Espresso. Sort of the mid level, a little bit darker blends.
Right, right, right.
Good stuff
Yeah,
all
amazing
together,
stuff,
and
man.
yeah,
Amazing stuff.
yeah, definitely a little welcome to HWA present, right?
You may be able to retire again, man, pretty soon because this stuff here is it's amazing. I'm
It
not even a
definitely
coffee
wakes you up,
drinker.
right?
Yeah, I'm not a coffee drinker, but this is
That's why
I
we're
might not be
here.
able
I
to sleep
needed a
tonight.
second cup, and I had a second cup, and the stuff is so good that my granddaughter took my mug here somewhere, and she left me with, I don't know if I can say this brand of root beer, but she left this here with me instead and stole my coffee. So I don't
You got
even
to be
have my
careful
mug in
about
front of
that.
me anymore.
You got to be careful about that. I've heard that you like to pour a little bit of alcohol in your coffee as well.
Um, we won't go there, but there was a time in my life when I did enjoy maturely a little adult beverage now and then, a little rum nightcap or scotch at times. Um,
Right.
is James Black a Scotch man?
I'm not actually. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not a drinker. I don't consume alcoholic products. I believe
Your body
that
is a temple,
exactly. Exactly.
which we do
And
not have. We do not share the same physique. Do you
yeah,
think if I stopped drinking liquor that I could look like James Black?
absolutely
We
not,
we
Steve.
could be twins.
Absolutely not. You would have to spend the rest of your life, which you probably don't have that much time left, in the gym, and I don't think it would work out in your favor.
But other than that, we could be twins, kind of like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. They
No,
look just like in that
absolutely
movie.
not. Absolutely not. I come from royalty, which is why I'm the king. As a matter of fact, if you didn't hear that awesome entrance music that I debuted yesterday, I have royalty all in my DNA. And
Yeah.
that being said, my son, the first ever legitimate second generation superstar, if you can't tell, I'm very proud about this.
And you
Uh,
should be every right to be. I know Logan. Had a chance to watch a lot of his, actually a lot of his amateur career. Um, so definitely you should be very proud of him.
so I believe, and the thing that I got into wrestling. We'll get into this whenever we get to sit down and do our origin story. But I got into wrestling later in my life, and with him getting started so young, I really believe that he's going to go on to be one of the greatest E-Fed superstars of all time. I'm not just saying that because it's my son. I'm just saying that because he has an early start, and he's been able to watch me throughout my career and things. And as I'm learning, as an older man, I'm teaching him as he's a younger man. So he's already going to be ahead of the game. And I'm pretty
And
sure.
he's definitely he's is he signed to a full time contract over in Drew Gessner's Worldwide Wrestling or 3Dub. For those fans that watching, is he signed to a full time in ring contract, or
Yeah,
is it
yes.
a trial sort of period?
No, he's definitely going to be signed to a full-time contract.
So that poses another question. You know where I'm going with this, right?
Not quite.
James Black versus Logan Black.
James Black versus Logan Black. I wouldn't
So with him
want.
signed to a full-time contract, that potential is definitely it very
It's
well may
possible.
happen.
It's very possible, and I only say it's possible because we're two active superstars on the same roster. But other than that, we've already had a talk, and I'm not going to be one of those overbearing parents like you saw with Ric Flair and Charlotte. And you oftentimes see that where some stars come in and they try to live in the predecessors or try to walk in their predecessors' shoes. I don't want it to be that way with Logan. He's going to carry the last name Black. He's going to do his thing. I'm going to stay out of his way, and I'm going to let him climb to the mountaintop on his own, just like I had to do.
Not
Of
using
course.
the Star Maker mantra. He's gonna have his own thing. You're saying.
Exactly. I don't want there to be like a second coming of James Black because there can only be one. And I know that. I'm pretty sure you know that,
And
Stephen.
he doesn't want to be the second coming of James Black. He wants to be Logan Black.
Exactly.
Well, that's very
But it doesn't
honorable.
change the fact that I am beyond excited to see my son get in the wrestling ring. And
Do we know what division Logan's gonna start in?
I don't know. I do know this. He's probably. I've only seen one or two, three at the most, really really small guys in 3 Dub. Um, so he may, very well may be the smallest.
Barnes Reed is pretty small.
You have a Tyler
Yeah,
Ace over there.
Tyler Ace. Yep, he's only like
Um,
5'7" or so.
but that being said, Tyler Ace is another guy that I'm a huge fan of. I believe it was a mistake on his behalf to sign with Hill Money. He
Will
was already
King's heel
becoming
money.
a
Yep.
he was becoming a breakout superstar on his own, but I believe him signing with Hill Money is going to slow him down a little bit.
I know Tyler a little bit. I know his manager, and I know his good friend Manny Ortiz. Manny, I don't believe is signed to 3Dub, but he is here in HWA. And if you watched, I know you're gonna kind of scoff at this. Manny's debut match, he actually dropped a match to Ian King or Ian Cleland, but say what you want, but Manny does have a huge potential. Um, Ian King is definitely more seasoned of a veteran than Manny. We saw flashes of Manny's power, that big triple power bomb. Ian King is going to be around 300 pounds, give or take,
Right.
and Manny lifted him up and power bombed him 3 times in a row
Mm.
in succession. So that type of strength, you gotta respect that.
But let
So
me ask this, and this is the most important question: did he win?
he did not win.
And that is all that matters to me in this life of professional wrestling. Wins, losses, and goal. That is all that matters to me. And while I'm speaking, let me say something else. Because on the show last night, you had CFT on commentary.
Right?
And as I was coming to the ring, watching the replay, as I was coming to the ring, I heard him say something out of his face that didn't really sit well with me. He said that my crown will look better on his head. So CFT, if you're listening, I want to issue you a challenge as well.
I don't think that would work out very well for CFT. He's got some in-ring ability we see in IWA and 3WA, but he's primarily a manager role. So I would advise against him accepting that challenge, or unless you saying that, you just probably opened up a can of worms with CFT and the likes of Lance Hagen, who he just signed, and Ryan Steele, both in your division in the heavyweight side of things. So I'm sure now you'll get to know those men a little bit better.
That is exactly what I want. I want Ryan Steele. I want Lance Hagen. I want CFT. I want Gorilla Cruz. I want Rashid Dickens. I want Chrome. I want King Kareem. I want all of these guys to wake up out of their sleep and realize that in their presence, they have the Star Maker. They have the Dream Catcher. They have a wrestling god in their presence. All that sitting on the sidelines and just watching and twiddling your thumbs, all those days are over. And I want to make sure that we're clear and on the same page here, Stephen, because life in HWA is about to change, as everyone knows it.
I'm hoping I can take that audio clip out and hell, I'd email it to most of the roster. You know, get some life breathed in, and I think that you being who you are can do just that. You know, in whichever you look at yourself as a heel or a face, I don't think it really matters. But you've got whatever it is.
I'm not a heel. I'm not a face. I'm the king of HWA, and I am a wrestling god. Damn, that sounds good, didn't it?
That does. I don't even know where else we can go after that. We might just have to close the show with that. There doesn't seem like there's going to be a more fitting line.
That's fine. I'll see you hopefully. But you know what, Stephen? We really need to schedule this origin story because I have a lot left that I want to say. But we can wrap this one up for tonight. But I have a lot left that I'd like to say to the HWU.
Definitely, and we're looking forward to having you here. You know, this is just an impromptu thing, but with the origins, we can definitely have it more hyped and get some people over in the comments section and get some questions for them. This again, just being sort of an impromptu thing. We're really expecting a lot of live viewers with us at the same time you're on. But hopefully, if they're smart, they will go back and rewatch this. And I'm going to do my part pushing it out, and I hopefully you do too, sharing it to people. But again, for everyone that's watched this, we're at about an hour mark, so perfect. James Black, King James, as you've requested or demanded to be called. King James here, James Black. Thank you for joining us. Everyone that watches, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more of these. You know, we just made a name, Coffee with SBJ, a random little podcast thrown up. This isn't part of the origins, so thank you to James. Thank you to everyone that's you know, checking in and liking the product. We're scheduled hopefully this weekend to get the origins with Robbie Regal done. We're looking at Saturday for that. And if he cannot do it Saturday, we're going to reschedule him and get right over with Jonathan Prada, ladies and gentlemen. JP, Jonathan Prada, the owner of Lit Wrestling, did win the voting. He will be the next guest, and we are looking to do that probably Monday. So again, thank you for watching. Check out blackriflecoffee.com. Get yourself a bag and some great mugs. SBJ signing off.